Justice League Unlimited is the greatest project to come out of the DC studios ever! And that has been true up till this little nugget of information drop that James Gunn and Peter Safran would be the new co-chairmen and CEOs of DC Studios and had some big plans to shake up the DCEU or the DCU. Let's do a deep dive today, folks. What's up there, low-hanging fruit? It's your boy, DWightsmith. And today, we will be talking about potentially the biggest train wreck in cinematic history since the one in the Unbreakable franchise. No, the other one. Today, we'll be rapping about the future of the DC Extended Universe, or as it will now be known, the DCU. Now, folks, in order to understand the future and where we're going to be going and how we got where we are, we must first talk a little bit about the past of the new two co-chairmen / CEOs of DC Studios, starting with the famed indie director turned Marvel director turned ex-Marvel director turned uncanceled Marvel director turned DC Studios director turned CEO / co-chairman of DC Studios, James Gunn. After a while, not just myself, but the whole world, with my favorite movie of all time possibly, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, Gunn has proven to all of us how amazing his movies can be with his musically led style of directing. To be honest, if you've even opened Twitter in the last 4 to 5 months, you know who James Gunn is and his whole history. I don't have to tell you about James Gunn. Let's talk just a smidget a bit about the other half of the CEO / chairman of DC Studios, Peter Safran. Now, even though Peter has not been in the public spotlight a lot, we still need to understand this man is not only great at what he does, he might be the best at what he does, folks. He is an experienced manager and a veteran producer in the entertainment industry, being in the entertainment industry for decades at this point. Like, guys, after I looked up who Peter is and seen his resume, do not get the game twisted. This man is experienced. Just because you don't know his name, believe me, everybody in the entertainment industry most likely does. In 2003, Safran became the president of Gray Management, a talent management firm and TV production company, after being there for 5 years. Hell, I know some of y'all who've been working at Foot Locker for 7 years and have not even thought about a promotion, bruh. And do not get it twisted either, folks. This wasn't no little talent firm. This firm at the time was managing big name superstars at the time, such as Adam Sandler, Nicolas Cage, Brad Pitt, Jennifer Aniston, etc., etc., etc. And may I remind you, back in 2000s, those 4 names alone were at the peak of their game. I mean, like, literally, Peter's name has popped up in so many credits for producing, which most of you would know if you actually stayed to watch the credits of their Marvel movies, which then you don't even read them there. He was literally producing a lot of well-known classics to date, such as most of the Conjuring universe itself, a lot of DCEU movies, back when it was still the DCEU, a bunch of spoof movies that, if you were my age, you know ruled the late 2000s movie theaters, basically. You know, original cult classics like Vampire Suts, Meet the Spartans, The Disaster Movie, The Starving Games, and more. And he even had a hand in one of the original spoofs, the Scary Movie 1 and 2. And y'all thought the Scary Movie stopped being funny after 2 because the Wayne brothers left. Nah, buddy, if Safran was still in it after that, I bet you'd be singing a different tune. So, you know, I was just letting you know a little bit more about Peter so you can understand when I drop his name a few times in this video. But to be honest, most of this is going to be about James Gunn because he controls more of the entertainment side, while Peter focuses more on the business side of the DC Studios. So, since we're still talking about the DCU's past, let's talk a little bit about my boy Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson real quick. So, if you know, you know. If you don't, let me give you a little bit of background. The Rock starred in DCEU's film Black Adam, released last October, did very poorly, and Rock decided that it was a good idea to offer up his services to the new leadership, being Peter Safran and James Gunn, offering to be sort of the DCU's new RDJ, if you know what I mean. Basically, he's tried to step in and be the patriarch of the DCU, saying that all of the films can fall under the Black Adam banner, and he will step up, lead them the way only The Rock can. And I love The Rock, don't get me wrong, but this was pure hilarity how Twitter blew this man up after this. I literally have a whole script here, like at least 2 paragraphs talking about this situation, but we don't have that sort of time. So I'm gonna leave it at, this man should have known better. I love you, Rocky, but you really need to understand the diaspora of a situation before you step into it the way you did. What RDJ did for the MCU was amazing, was great. But the thing is, he didn't ask for it. He stepped into the role, he knocked it out the park, he did great ratings. That's how he got the big bucks. He just happened to be first. Really, RDJ didn't do it alone. That's what you have to realize. The amazing writing of the script held up RDJ. The Marvel Studios held up those producers, those filmmakers, so they can make the amazing film that they made with the first Iron Man. The fans held up Marvel Studios in order for them to start the whole MCU, and so on and so forth. It's just like, you can't ask to be the central hub, the central basics, the foundation of something. You just are or you aren't. But one last thing, I do understand, I will never try to knock someone for trying to secure the bag. You know, like, if you don't know, look up how much RDJ gets just for appearances in an MCU film. Just making an appearance for him gets him millions of dollars, folks. I still remember and ponder back to the days of the DCEU when they first announced Batman v Superman around the time Captain America Civil War was dropping, and I felt disgust, and I immediately wanted the DCEU to fail because I just felt like they were rushing the process and trying to get a quick buck instead of a buck well earned, and it just really rubbed me the wrong way, and I just wanted them to fail at everything they did. And unfortunately, I got my wish. It definitely seemed like they wanted to just do bad for themselves until they announced back in November of 2022, just a couple shy months ago, that the new leadership would include the Casanova himself, James Gunn, and G. Fire Peter Safran taking over the business and creative sides of the business. This, of course, came with fan base wide excitement, because even though not a lot of people knew Safran, everyone and their third cousin twice removed, making it alright for you to kiss them that one time at band camp that nobody still knows about, knew about James Gunn. Of course, Gunn reassured the fans that we gonna be alright, and that he and Peter knew what they were looking forward to and also what they would be leaving behind when it came to the DCU in the future. And bumps were to be had on the road, which is expected. Which now, of course, brings us to the present of the DCEU. So this is where it gets a little tricky. I say this because the day I finished my script, James Gunn announced the next day he would be releasing official announcements for the DCU future plans. And so, that freaking blew up my video plans. And so I had to literally take a few days off and then rewrite the ending of my script, because this was supposed to be kind of the wrap up here, but now we got an extra 10 minutes of content now. So for the present portion, we're going to be talking about what we know for surefire, and that's starting with Blue Beetle, which is slated to be released August 18th, 2023, starring the newest Karate Kid from Cobra Kai, Xylo Maranduna. Sorry for the name butcher. So coming in hot with Blue Beetle, we have Jamie Reyes, I believe is his name, is the newest incarnation of the Blue Beetle. He has been the Blue Beetle for maybe the last decade or even more now. So I feel like that's what the modern audience is more used to. They're used to Jamie being the Blue Beetle. Xylo, if I'm saying his name right, sorry if I'm not, but I'm gonna say Xylo this whole time because xylophone. I've watched Cobra Kai. I was excited for Cobra Kai to come out because I'm a big Karate Kid fan, but in that time I've seen Xylo grow. He's a great young actor for sure. I feel like there are a lot of different areas where he can improve in, but that's the same for everybody. So just having a good foundation of acting skills, I cannot wait to see what he does stepping away from that role, because I'm pretty sure he's been in other things, but I haven't seen him in anything but Karate Kid, so I'm pretty sure that was his biggest role to date. So can't wait to see what he does. I hope he has a knockout role in this, and I hope it does well enough, because I feel like these films that are not a part of James Gunn's new DCU plans, I feel like depending on how they do now is going to determine if they're going to be in the future plans or not. So I think we all know where Black Adam's not going to be in the future. Just to rattle off a couple of more movies that we know of, maybe even some first thoughts, depending on if I really want to talk about it or not. Let's start off with the amazing standalone Joker movie was amazing, and its sequel, Joker 2, don't know how to pronounce that French shit, is slated to be released in 2024 next year, with Lady Gaga, who is not officially confirmed to be, but everyone is pretty sure she is going to be the Harley Quinn to Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, after A Star is Born and after the Gucci movie, whichever, I think it was the House of Gucci, like with Lady Gaga has shown her prowess for acting, and like this woman is not getting hired for nothing, you guys. Like, she's doing an amazing job. Margot Robbie did an amazing job with her interpretation of Harley Quinn. I'm very sad that she was paired with Jared Leto's Joker, because I felt like if she was paired with like any other Joker, she that coupling would have been amazing. But you know, it did give her a moment to shine brighter. Don't ask me why, but I just feel like Lady Gaga is gonna do even better. And like, maybe I'm putting too much pressure on her, but like, I just feel like Lady Gaga already had the weirdness there, you know? Like she was doing shit like this. Put the picture of the meat dress up, Dwight. She was doing shit like that. I just feel like she already had a sense of weirdness to her, which Harley Quinn's character definitely is portrayed to have. So cannot wait to see what she does with this. All right, so you know, this next part, I try not to look at my phone while I'm recording, but I also don't have videos to put up. So I'm just gonna look at my phone and look back at the camera. Like, don't worry, I'm not gonna make this normal, but yeah, it's too much stuff to remember. So like, we also got Shazam 2, Fear of the Gods coming out. It looks very boring, very dry. Lucy Liu and Meryl Streep, I believe, are the villains in that one. And I think there's a third one too. I forgot who the third woman is, but you know, very lovely women, very amazing. But like, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, we looked at the trailers, we seen the trailers. Shazam 1 was like fucking fart noise. Like, it looks boring, it looks dry. Like, I don't know what happened. Zachary Levi plays an amazing kid, like a grown man who's supposed to be, you know, a 14, 15-year-old. That made sense. Bobby acts, you know, like sad, and you know, which, you know, he's an orphan, so it made sense. And like, he's looking for his mom. He finds out his mom didn't want him, but whenever he was a kid, he was never portrayed as having fun or anything. And you know, it might be something there, like storytelling wise, like, oh, he was happier as a superhero than as a kid. Like, what's wrong with his childhood? I don't know, but it's going to be boring. It looks boring, it looks dry. It looks like it has, you know, more family moral storyline to it, which is cool. But yeah, it just looks boring, you guys. So then we also have the Flash movie coming out, Flashpoint with Ezra Miller. Yikes, those legal troubles, boy. I remember everybody was excited about this because we would all see, I think we're supposed to see Ben Affleck's last, you know, iteration as Batman in this one. I'm not sure if that's still a thing. You know, we're gonna see, you know, there's different universes. That's the only part I'm excited about. Whenever they explore different universes in this world where we've done a million superhero things already, that's just their chance to go back and explore those. And like, it's so amazing, even for stuff I haven't watched myself. I would love to just see alternate universe Nicolas Cage Superman, because, and not because he ever played him, but that one time he was supposed to, and we have the one photo of him. I would love to see that in the movie, just because, by the way, just because. All right, what else we got? We got Aquaman 2 coming out. Jason Momoa does an amazing Aquaman. He is definitely one of the aspects from this previous DCEU universe that I hope Gunn and Peter, you know, carry over to the new DCU. We also have the Batman 2, as in Christopher Nolan / Robert Pattinson's Batman, which was fucking mwah. I don't know if I've ever said it officially, but I'm officially saying it here today on this video, and I will never change this opinion unless another better one comes along. But Robert Pattinson has the best Batman, the most realistic Batman, and I'm gonna say it again, the best Batman to date. I love Christian Bale, but next to Robert Pattinson's, Christian Bale's Batman looks cartoonish, to be honest with you. I haven't heard anything about it in a while, but I believe we still have the Batman spin-off HBO series, the Penguin spin-off TV show series, HBO Max series, still coming. You know, I want to say if not later this year, 2024. And guys, we have the best / the worst. Well, not worst, but we have some bad / horrendously great news. It looks like the DCEU will not be continuing their HBO Max series moving forward. I know Stargirl, I believe, was already canceled. Swamp Thing didn't last, I think, one season. But we have two standouts who kind of, made the wave, started the whole thing, and they were going strong. One was DC's Doom Patrol. I'm actually very sad to see it go. The season that's out now will be its last season. But folks, if you watch my videos, then you know how much I love to hate watch one specific show. Titans. I'm going to throw the biggest party to celebrate this, and I will invite my dad. If you've watched my previous video, you know my dad is the only person I could find, not even in just real life, but also on Twitter and everywhere on the internet, who doesn't hate watch this show. But with all that being said, that's what we know now. That's what should be coming out within the next 2 years, to be honest with you. All of that stuff should be dropping in the next 2 years, this year in 2024. Now to look to the future. Now, this is the part of the freaking script that I literally had to write this morning. So let's kind of just speed through it because I don't like my videos to be too long. So we're just going to talk about the announcements that James Gunn talked about, meaning phase 1, I mean chapter 1 of the new DCU. I don't know when we took the E out, but it is now to be known as the DC Universe, which is cool, whatever, DCU. I even like it because they're even giving it a name. Chapter 1 will be Gods and Monsters. The first show will be an animated show created and written by Gunn himself, called Creature Commandos. That actually looks really cool, I'm not gonna lie to you. Gunn also said that moving forward, all animated and live action projects will be in the DCU. They are conjoined, all of them will be the same. Any characters in the animation can and most likely will show up in live action. Whoever plays them in the live action will also be voicing them in the animations as well. So, that's pretty nice, very continuity based, very forward thinking. I like that. James Gunn writing a story about a team of unknown misfits that come together and it ends up being a hit? What have I heard? That sounds familiar, doesn't it? We'll come back to it. Looks like we will also have a show, Waller, starring Viola Davis, as it freaking better be. It seems like the Waller show will be bridging the gap between seasons 1 and the still planned season 2 of Peacemaker HBO series. All I do know is I need Waller to be dark, gritty. If it's humorous, the only humor I want in Waller is Waller being so mean to motherfuckers that we laugh from it. Don't try to give her like a Suicide Squad or a Peacemaker treatment. Waller is gritty, she's balls to the wall action, and I need this show to reflect that. We also have a Lanterns TV show that will not be starring 1, but 2 Green Lanterns. Not just any Green Lanterns, our Green Lanterns. Let's go, dude. It's going to be starring Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart. Come on, man. I love it. I love how after decades, years of no live action iterations of the Lanterns, that we get this amazing and beautiful overcorrection of 2 of them starring in the thing. I believe James Gunn said something along the lines of it's going to have a true detective type of feel to it, which is cool. I can't wait for it. Another show we got on the horizon is Paradise Island, aka Themyscira for all the uninitiated. This is going to be a HBO Max series that takes place before the birth of Wonder Woman. Gunn says it's going to be akin to the likes of Game of Thrones. So I can only see this going one of 2 ways. They're either being invaded or it's a mutiny from the inside because, one of the powerful people who's probably a general probably thinks they should run it one way, but the crown queen thinks they should run it another. And so they mutiny and that's the show. Or if they're really unoriginal at the DC studios, they're gonna do a little bit of both. Ooh. So please DCU, feed me original concepts. I'm hungering for it. And for the last TV show that is to be released is going to be Booster Gold. Yeah, if you don't know the story of Booster Gold, it's a little interesting. You should probably check it out. He is a loser in the future, and he takes future tech and travels to the past to become a superhero. But even then, he's still a D-list, a C-list character. After that one episode of Justice League Unlimited that really bumped up his popularity, where it was solely focused on Booster Gold doing side adventure while the Justice League was fighting the big bad. But yeah, like, I do understand, because like after that episode, like, you find out he's an interesting character that can be explored emotionally, like with his powers, and his sidekick, the little talking robot, that has to be in the show. That's essential to his character and his likability. They actually had the script for this in development hell for years before James Gunn even thought about being in the DCU. In my opinion, if they capture the essence of that one episode from Justice League Unlimited, but just not stretch it, but make that essence prevalent throughout the whole series, you got a hit. Now, we've talked about all the TV series, let's jump into the movies. First up, we got Superman Legacy. It's the only project that got even a resemblance of a release date, which would be like July 2025, which makes sense. They already got all these other projects lined up for the next 2 years. So like Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters, will officially start more so down the line. The only thing Gunn really gave us is like none of these projects will really be an origin story for anybody, which is freaking perfect. The next movie is going to be The Authority, which also another team of misfits that we don't know a lot about, but will be helmed by James Gunn. This dude just loves the groups that of unknowns, boy, I tell you. The only real thing I know about The Authority, because I didn't, look them up or anything, is that they'll do anything for the greater good. So, so it's kind of like Peacemaker, but they don't back down. And Gunn has confirmed already not only all of the DCU projects in the DCU will connect, but also they will do crossover. Not in this film, but in future films they will be crossing over. So the Authority will potentially and will most likely meet up with the Justice League in the future. From the description they gave about they'll do anything for the greater good, I don't know if they're going to be friends or foes of the Justice League, so that could be something interesting to explore. The next one, I'm not going to lie, is my most anticipated and my most favorite one of the bunch, The Brave and the Bold, which, if you don't know, is the Batman. That's Batman and Robin. In this particular case, it's going to be Bruce Wayne, and his Robin in this one is going to be Damian Wayne, which is Bruce's son with Talia al Ghul. Now, if you don't know, Damian Wayne is at this point by far the most favorite Robin out of the bunch. Because of this, he's more cutthroat, he's more deadly than all of the Robins. He can even go toe to toe with Dick Grayson as Nightwing. Not gonna lie, Damian is whoever they cast and however they write him in the story, he has to be prevalent. His acting has to be on point. His portrayal has to be on point. Damian Wayne, the casting of him, the story of Kid Damian in this movie is literally going to make or break this film. Another thing you may not have known, this is Damian Wayne's first live action adaptation. So this is very important that they get this right. Next up, we got Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. So we're kind of used to, well, I don't know about you guys, but I know from my lot of live adaptations for Supergirl, the show, and any other projects I've seen her in, even in animation wise, she's always been the hope, the light at the end of the tunnel. And that's always been her role in most adaptations, even in the comic books. But it turns out Woman of Tomorrow is going to show a different side of Supergirl. This is going to be a darker and grittier tale. It's going to be like polar opposite morale-wise to Superman Legacy. I know this is about her upbringing, I believe, after the destruction of her home planet Krypton. And so this is definitely going to be a darker tale, but I still think we're going to find the hopeful Supergirl we're used to at the end of this movie. And to wrap it all up, we have a horror-themed movie, Swamp Thing. After the failed attempt of an HBO Max series, whatever the hell that was about, they're going to be trying Swamp Thing once more. Swamp Thing is another cult classic favorite from the DC universe. In terms of comic books, people really are in love with this green crustacean. Like, I personally don't see the appeal, but hey, I'm not going to knock somebody else's bag or whatever. So props to them. I am going to say this though. I feel like Swamp Thing is not going to be received well by non-comic book fans, which is a big population of the superhero film fans. So what I suggest is you focus purely on the horror. Swamp Thing is literally trying to murder people, like straight up, no filter. This is not a hero. He is a hero for the environment, and that's it. No Captain Planet bull stuff. he is straight up trying to murder people for polluting or whatever else the case may be. Make it a horror film, folks. But yeah, man, that's pretty much my take on what's going on in the DCU and what the future has to hold. Is pretty crazy. One more thing that Gunn announced is that all projects that take place outside of the main DCU, like the Batman, Christopher Nolan's The Batman with Robert Pattinson, the Penguin HBO spinoff series, and also like Joker and Joker the sequel, those will take place outside of the main DCU storyline, so not in Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. Instead, they will be a part of the DC Elseworld continuity. So it's going to be separate, but they're all still, of course, under the DC Studios flag. Well, only the future can tell what the real DCU will do stacked up next to the MCU, and I cannot wait, because I'm not gonna lie, this new lineup, now it seems like it's gonna be a little bit more of a competition between the two companies, and I cannot personally wait to see how this shapes up. Also, of course, be sure to follow me for even more content on my IG and Twitter at IBFamousWDS. I will be posting all review videos there, any shorts that I have going on, and also do not forget to drop a and also leave a Future Dwight, play me out.